Dash is a tiger cub who was unexpectedly born during the Wildcat Sanctuary's rehoming effort of 4 big cats from an Indiana facility. Their rehoming marked the end of a cruel captive breeding cycle of cubs that had gone on at this facility for years. Without the sanctuary intervening, Dash would have been sold to a roadside zoo, where many exploit young cubs for profit by charging the public to hold and take photos with them. Extremely vulnerable and weighing less than 4 pounds, Dash needs feeding and care every few hours to ensure his survival. In his first week of life, he learns to crawl and walk, and is vocal about his teeth coming in.
Good boy.
At the sanctuary, Dash is mastering crawling and rolling over. His eyes are opening, and he gives his first tiger chuff.
Good boy.
At a cub petting operation, Dash's second week of life would be quite different. He would be one of many litters of cubs, many who don't survive due to lack of individualized and proper care.
There it is.
Being weighed daily, Dash is already 8 pounds and is taking his first steps.
Come on, good boy.
His eyes still continue to open, and he is visually recognizing things in his surroundings. When used for cub petting, cubs are often left alone for hours and even overnight. The cubs can become lethargic and hypoglycemic from lack of food.
I can't believe when we met you, you were just 3 hours old when we picked up Winona, Marcus, Wally, and Marlene. We did not expect that there would be a 5th little boy, but you've done so much, haven't you?
Across America, there's a surplus of privately owned tigers just like Dash. So many are sold and traded. Only a few ever end up at reputable sanctuaries. Fortunately, Dash is one of those lucky ones, and he has a safe forever home where he can grow and thrive. Dash's ears have begun to stand up, and he's even making his first attempts at grooming. As a growing tiger, Dash is also beginning to show more of his rambunctious wild side. Dash is still in strict quarantine to protect his health. Cubs' immune systems are not yet developed, and they cannot be fully vaccinated at this age. A tiger in training, Dash needs to sleep after a day of stalking, pouncing, and playing. Cubs used for cub petting are woken repeatedly for paying customers, rather than sleeping the 20 hours their growing bodies need. Workers often bounce cubs and blow in their faces to wake them up for photo ops. Dash's personality is shining through, along with his apex predator tendencies. Even at this young age, cubs can be dangerous when held by children. Tiger cubs are restless and scratch and bite. Sadly, in a different life, Dash would be 1 week away from being legal to use for cub petting here in the United States. Cubs not as fortunate as Dash would only be used for a short 4-week window of exploitation before being sold, or worse.
So Dash turned 8 weeks old yesterday. He's protesting being in his crate, but it's the safest place for him in the on-site hospital right now. He's doubled in size over the last 2 weeks in length. And so he's going to protest a little bit like any healthy tiger cub should.
At 8 weeks old, Dash would have been passed around from person to person for profit. The lack of sleep and poor nutrition often leads to diarrhea and other health issues for cubs. Cub petters want compliant and docile cubs who will sit quietly on a customer's lap for photos. The opposite of what tiger cubs like Dash want to be doing. Dash moves into a big cat bedroom with outdoor access. He's beginning to test his boundaries, biting and clawing, something he would be punished for at a cub petting operation. Instead of day-to-day play, as an exploited cub in the cub petting industry, Dash would have been surrounded with harsh, bright camera flashes and loud, gawking crowds. Also, cubs used for cub petting often develop ringworm, which is highly contagious to people who touch the cubs. Dash got to explore the outdoors for the first time in his 10th week of life. Cubs used for cub petting don't get to make their own decisions and play when they want to. At a cub petting display, Dash wouldn't have the freedom to jump or climb. When not being held by a customer, he would have been kept in a small cage. Dash continues to eat a healthy and balanced diet to promote bone growth. Many exploited cubs suffer from malnutrition and metabolic bone disease. Cubs are honing in their instincts and want to play rough. Anyone holding them could be easily bitten or scratched. Cubs can get sick from being passed around. The stress and lack of strong immune system can cause diarrhea, dehydration, and even death. Big cats can also contract COVID-19. Each public interaction would put cubs like Dash at a greater risk. At 12 weeks, exploited cubs have already outlived their usefulness since public contact is no longer legal. They are now too big and too dangerous to sit on a child's lap for photos. They've become a liability instead of a moneymaker. Dash, like many cubs, would simply disappear into the exotic animal trade, only to suffer the rest of their lives in small barren cages, or possibly even worse. How can you help save cubs like Dash? By just saying no to cub petting, and help us educate others why. Never pay to hold a big cat cub. It does nothing for their conservation. And finally, contact your congressional representative and ask them to support the Big Cat Public Safety Act today. For more information on how to help, visit wildcatsanctuary.org.